Hi guys, welcome to the Green Party in Swansea again. We've been very busy, litter picking, fixing the fence up at Ganges field in Pentilla, and we'd just like to have a word with you now about the Syrian crisis. A few people would like to speak to you.
Please sign the petition regarding welcoming 20 Syrian refugees, 20 Syrian families, refugees to Swansea.
The flight from Syria, of Syrians, is on a biblical scale. And we remember this from history. In the 1930s, it was the Jews and other minorities such as gypsies, trade unionists, who were persecuted throughout Europe, and they fled or died. If they didn't move, they would die. And the national newspapers at that time, the Daily Mail, held headlines that are the same as today by the Daily Mail, where they had no sympathy and didn't want migrants within this country. Just change the word migrant for Jew and the headlines are the same as in the 1930s. Shame on you, Daily Mail, and anybody else who's got no humanitarian respect.
One story which really struck a heartstring with me was the story about a 14-year-old boy pushing his nana 3,500 miles across 4 countries, and his nana's in a wheelchair.
So I'd like to say some statistic about why we need to help the Syrian refugees. It is half of the pre-war population of Syria, which was 23 million, now in urgent need for humanitarian aid. More than 7.5 million are displaced inside Syria, and 4 million are displaced outside Syria, all over the region. The 4 million Syrian refugees make the largest number of refugees in the world, and they make the largest part of the most vulnerable refugees in the world. Half of these Syrian refugees are children. They have no access to education, they have no chance to play or have a friend. They have the boys has to go on the street and have anything to sell in order to support themselves. The children are locked at, the girls are locked at home for safety reasons, and they are suffering from so much isolation. And the basic necessities are very scarce, including food and water and medical services.
One story that upset me is about 71 people in Austria that were stuck in an abandoned lorry on a motorway, and included children and women and men. And it horrifies me because it took them 2 days and they all suffocated to death inside the lorry.
And also 75% to 80% of these Syrian refugees are women and children, and women mostly are single parents. They are either raped by the government soldier or kept totally at home by the ISIS group. Even if they need to go and buy food for their children, they are not allowed to go out of home. And very crowded cities in Syria are bombed, and these bombs kill instantly so much high number of people. That's why people are escaping. And they are killed by 3 armies: the Syrian government army, the ISIS terrorist groups, and the American airplane. When they target the ISIS, they kill innocent people in that area.
David Cameron referred to these poor people as a swarm coming across the Mediterranean. I think we have to be careful using such volatile language in response to immigration on a scale where the people that are coming across, they don't have a choice. They're coming across through desperation, and I think we need to bear in mind that the European Union offering for placements, local government, a fund to actually cover the costs associated with extra people coming into our areas. So I think we all need to have an open mind and open arms and allow these people to move across. Ignore UKIP, ignore Conservatives, and be open-minded.
If I can add something else, I would like to say that the UK has a big tradition of accepting refugees to this country, and especially refugees in crisis like Syrian refugees. Especially Wales has this tradition, and Swansea is a sanctuary city. So why don't we welcome them here? And
we will. We're Welsh.
Yeah, as
We could
much
be the
as we
first
take
city to
the
do such a thing. Oh, is that
Vietnam and from Serbia and from Kosovo and from everywhere in the world. Also, I want to say that European Union has decided to take to every European country 60,000 most vulnerable refugees. Germany took until now 40,000 Syrian refugees, while Cameroon opted out of this European plan, and there is now only 187 Syrian people in the UK. So we want to say that we are as passionate as everybody in Europe, and we want Syrians to come to this country for protection. And guys, don't worry about financial burden on you, because the European Union is funding these refugees for the whole first year, for everything: accommodation, health care, and education as well.
There's an obvious cliche that everybody in the UK are immigrants at some point or another. We have to be, because the English Channel doesn't permit any other any other form of travel. We're all immigrants, so let's ditch the word.
We're all human beings.
So please sign the petition regarding welcoming 20 Syrian refugees, 20 Syrian families, refugees to Swansea. Thank you very much.